Thank you. For more on this, I'm now joined by Denise Grace Gitsham, NewsNation political contributor. Denise, good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning,
I didn't have Kristi Noem out and Markwayne Mullin in on my bingo card during war with Iran. But I find it interesting because the White House dismissed reports of her dismissal as fake news. So what happened? Was it just 2 days of testimony this week?
Yeah, a lot can happen in 2 days in Washington, as you probably have noticed. But also, I think there comes a tipping point, right? When you have Republicans starting to pile on the Republican administration, when the president really needs every Republican on board to get anything done, and then until midterms and hopefully beyond, you can't afford to have someone who doesn't understand that the definition of public service is literally about serving the public and not oneself. I feel like she's been on thin ice, but they were all unforced errors. She always seemed to want to share the spotlight with President Trump instead of keeping it on the mission. And I just think that's a fatal mistake for anybody. But I also think it's interesting how the dog killing memoir never fails to reemerge.
Yes.
And I think the good news about Markwayne Mullin is what I hear is that he actually really likes dogs.
Well, yeah, we'll see how he's different in this role, too. What are you expecting in terms of leadership? Because, you know, I'm from Oklahoma, so I've been familiar with him for a while, but he is a newer face in the Senate. He's established himself as an ally of President Trump. He's been vocally supportive of immigration tactics. So do you think he's going to be much different than Kristi Noem has been?
I think he might be a little less drama, other than, you know, the highlighted part that you just talked about with trying to fight the Teamster guy who apparently he won over, which is good because you got to win friends in politics. He doesn't seem like he's going to be like Kristi, where she was just really focusing on herself, where she kept saying, look at me, and made a lot of unforced errors. To me, it seems like Markwayne Mullin is just somebody who's going to get the job done. He loves America. He's a plain speaker. That's the other thing. I read that he dropped out of high school or something and went to go work in his dad's, shop. He's just like a hometown guy. Maybe you'll understand better coming from Oklahoma. That's really what America needs to have at the forefront of anything as controversial as President Trump's immigration agenda. So hopefully between he and Tom Homan, they can bring down the sort of heightened rhetoric and just do the job that we need them to do more than ever now that we're in a war with Iran and have to deal with a whole new layer of things like sleeper cells.
Yeah, I know, which is why I didn't expect this news this week, amid all the other headlines that are going on right now. But I mean, surely the White House is wanting him to be a reset button moment for the administration. But I'm wondering, is he about to package DHS and ICE completely differently, or will it still be the same message, just the optics are different?
You know, I always think that the issue with immigration was more of a matter of form over substance. Most Americans were really pleased with the fact that we've closed the border and we've done all the things that Kristi Noem did when she was DHS secretary. Those were, really important during the election in November of 24. Now that we've succeeded, we've got to move on to new things. And I say we, as a Republican, I'm focused on what are we doing now to meet the threats of today. And I think that Markwayne Mullin is going to be a necessary sort of reset in tone. Even if it's not significantly different in substance, I think they needed somebody who wasn't going to just attract the ire of everyone because they'd already done so many things, made so many unforced errors that they couldn't really dig themselves out of a hole.
Yeah. Lastly, just before I let you go, obviously we're still in a partial government shutdown that affects TSA, FEMA, Coast Guard, cybersecurity. He doesn't take over till March 31st, correct? I'm wondering if there are any cybersecurity risks at this time with that sort of leadership vacuum in place, or no?
Well, I mean, I don't know that a cabinet secretary is always necessarily the person dealing with the day-to-day. Usually you've got a lot of great career civil servants who have been in office or have been serving the country for a long time that really keep the ships running. You've got more of I guess it's more of a symbolic leadership role when you have a secretary, but they do set the tone. So I think what's needed right now is a change in both. And I think that we're going to be just fine with the leaders that we have in there at all levels of government in DHS.
Okay, copy that. And Noem is now being repositioned as special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, which is some sort of new Western Hemisphere initiative from the White House. We'll see what that entails. Denise Grace Gitsham, thank you so much. Have a fabulous weekend.
You too, Markie.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.